All right, I think I'm live. I think I'm live. This is going to be a very good conversation. In fact, let me try to fix this mic situation here. You guys might hear some little background noise in the back. All right, this is going to be a bit of a podcast, in a sense, bit of a podcast. Oh, we fixed it now. Yes, we fixed it. This is going to be a bit of a podcast, where I'm going to be just talking about. Hold on, give me 1 second. All right. So, anyways, as I was saying, brother HHS reached out to your boy. This is one of those late night podcasts that I'm gonna be doing today. Uh, one of my brothers, one of my Calvinist brothers, William, was hopeful that one day I would become a Calvinist. He said, "Hey, JP, one day you will become a Calvinist." He said that. Um, and the reality is that um, I would say that the evangelical world, unfortunately, does a lot of things that they claim Catholics do. They do a lot of things that they claim Orthodox do. They say that um, individuals are running, etc., etc. Oh, this person's running. Why do Catholics always run? And all these things. And so called Protestants tend to do the same thing. Now, there are some Protestants out there, just to go on the record, that I think are people that are of honor and people that are legitimate individuals. I think that those individuals do exist. But by and large, I must say that a lot of Protestants, they pull some of the same tactics that they claim Catholics pull. And that's just not cool, if I'm going to be honest. Let me send this link here. Let me send this link. A special shout out to the Calvinists out there and to the particular Protestants that do go out and debate. You know, a special shout out to them. But by and large, a lot of Protestants and a lot of so-called non-Protestants as well, because we know that there are people out there that claim to be Protestants, but they're not technically Protestants by Protestant standards. I myself go by evangelical. It truly is a shame, and I'm gonna pin the link in case anybody wants to chat. Okay, I'll pin this link in case anybody wants to chat. So let me pin this, because not a lot of people know I'm live here. And this is on my second channel. So, of course, a lot of individuals are not going to know what's going on. So let me just pin this real quick. That's the link to join. Let me just switch over to my second channel, and then we can rock and roll. Okay, let me pin this to my second channel. So boom, let me pin this. All right, cool. All right. So that's the link to join right there. And again, it's very basic. A lot of I think Christians as a whole have a lot of problems. I think there's a lot of problems. Now, somebody said, I'm confused. Did JP move away from being born again? Are you saying that I have to be Protestant in order to be born again? Or are you saying I have to be Calvinist to be born again? Or are you saying that I have to conform to once saved, always saved, limited atonement, and total depravity in order to be saved? Is that what you're saying? Do I have to believe in once saved, always saved to be, excuse me. Oh man. Anyways, sorry, fellas, got a bit of an allergy. But, anyways, as I was saying, do I have to conform to these things? Sorry. Do I have to conform to these things? Man, once the winter starts rolling around, I start to die. But, anyways, do I have to conform to these things? So yeah, that's the main key here. Now, the fact that somebody would say, "Hey, you're not saved. Oh, you're not this. I'm confused," really comes to show you how divided. There is a division when it comes to evangelicals and Protestants and all those things. There are a certain level of divisions. And I think that we're at the point where these divisions, at least across the internet, um, people are now saying you're not saved if you believe contrary to somebody else. You know? Now, the thing is this: when people are given the opportunity to attempt to prove that I am not saved, they can do it amongst themselves, but once given the opportunity, they won't come and do what's necessary. So, for example, we have Lambert 316 Hope, who's talking in the comment sections, but Lambert 316 Hope has not clicked that link. We have Nightshade 99 who says, "Am I that I move away from being born again?" But Nightshade 99 has not clicked that link. Okay. Now we have Nightshade 99 saying, "No, I am saying you are allowing for false teachings by the RCC. What false teachings am I allowing?" Right? What false teachings am I allowing that you're saying the RCC church teaches? Right? These things are all very, very important. And they're very important, but not only are they important, these are things that I'm willing to do. There are guys out there, many people out there that have done videos on me, have critiqued my position, but many of these individuals refuse to debate and have a discussion. They refuse to do it. They'll hide behind a panel or something along those lines. That's most people. As of late, I'm not going to lie. I've been on a Catholic's platform to debate because, quite frankly, that's the only mutual way we can debate. If I go to a Protestant platform, what we'll have is a bunch of cockroaches that join that particular platform to bash me. If I go to a Catholic platform, well, you don't feel too comfortable. It feels kind of odd, right? Most of the time when I debate people, I go to their platforms. Unlike certain other individuals out there who won't come to mine or a mutual. But respect to those individuals that do that. But again, that's the state of Protestantism now today. That is the state of Protestantism. And when I say Protestantism, I say non-Catholics and non-Orthodox. Because again, true Protestants would say that the regular individuals out there aren't really Protestant. All right. So I just want to get that very, very clear. But it's a shame. Many people believe things strongly, but they stay behind the comment sections. Many people believe once saved, always saved, and they believe uh, predestination, a limited atonement, and you can believe whatever you want. All right. Somebody said JP head over to Mega Bloodbath Debates channel. I don't know who that is. Mega Bloodbaths. Who the heck is that? Sounds satanic. Mega Bloodbaths. Let me look this up. Sounds satanic. Mega Bloodbath. Let's see. Let's look this up. Well, that's an atheist channel. I'm not going over there right now. But even atheist, right? I've gone to many atheist platforms. I've gone to many atheist platforms. So a lot of the people out there that are reformers, or I would say just the non-reformer, they hate Catholics so much. They hate all these individuals so much that they themselves become worse than the very Catholics that they do hours and hours of content on. Now, I have a lot of Protestant friends out there, and I have a lot of non-Catholic and Orthodox friends, and I always tell them, tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong. You know, it is 10 o'clock. I say, tell me where I'm wrong when I come at Protestants. Tell me where I'm wrong. Tell me where I'm wrong when I say the Protestants are cowards. They are. Or the so-called Protestants. Because again, true Protestants won't say you guys are Protestant, right? We've had that conversation. But non-Catholics and non-Orthodox, by and large, are cowards. They're cowards. They hide behind the comment section. I had a buddy of mine who sent me a screenshot of a random dude talking behind my back on a Protestant platform or a non-Catholic platform. And the individual was cursing me out, but he doesn't come click that link to challenge me. Now, somebody said it's my pride. Please explain how it is. You have to explain it. Maximum, click the link and tell me how it's my pride. All right? So you have to click the link and tell me how it's my pride. You see, I'm willing to be corrected. I'm willing to be wrong, but you have to show me I'm wrong. You have to show me where I have a different gospel. You have to show me where I have to believe once saved, always saved. You have to show me. Somebody said, JP, you are famous. People will talk about you. I'm not famous, my brother. Now you're famous with that bald head of yours, brother. And I'm jealous of you, brother, because I wish I were bald. I wish. But my freaking hair grows back the next day, and then I got to shave it off again. And again and again and again. Now, somebody said, because you talk about yourself more than Jesus, provide your evidence. That's what King Sil said. Enough conjecture, provide your evidence. Right? So that's my thing. Right? Now, somebody said, JP, are you Catholic or Orthodox? I am an evangelical. I am an evangelical that stands in the line of fire. I stand in the line of fire. Fellas. Ready to go to war for my beliefs. I don't hide in the comment section. Some of the very people that you guys support, and if the shoe fits, the shoe fits, they wouldn't come to my platform to see me if their lives depended on it. I want to go on the record. Your favorite YouTube channel, your favorite YouTuber on YouTube won't come on this platform to face me. All right? They won't. Now, Maximum Saint, you have to press that link, my brother. You have to press that link. Now, somebody said a Protestant is from the RCC faith to begin with. Again, as I was saying, I'm not a Protestant because, again, Protestants are not evangelicals. All right? So again, fellas, I give this opportunity to everybody. I give everybody opportunities. I'm a man of opportunity. I am. If you don't think I'm saved, if you think I'm prideful, click the link and prove it, substantiate it. Again, I deny once saved, always saved. I deny limited atonement. Sorry, no microcamp. How convenient, Maximum. How convenient. Now here we have this brother here, his humble servant. That's my guy. And this is not a brother. Now, if humble servant is your favorite YouTuber, the shoe does not fit for him. Not only do we have debates privately, or not debates, but we have animated, I wouldn't even say heated. I would say we have animated conversations when we disagree. And guess what? This brother here, if I disagree with something or he disagrees with me, we're going to talk about it. Now, Maximum, you're barking, and I'm going to have to get you out of here, Maximum. Okay, because you said you don't have a mic or a camera. So what are you watching me on, a rock? A rock? So anyways, as I was saying, I don't respect, and humble servant, you're the perfect guy to be here. And you're not a representative of evangelicals. You're not a representative of Protestants. But I'm going to tell you right now, right here, humble servant, I cannot critique the Catholics when Protestants are worse. I'm on the record. These cowards, humble servant, these cowards, a humble servant, they talk crazy in the comment section. They go back and forth in the comment section. What happens when JP shows up? You see what I'm saying? And these are the same guys that go around talking about Catholicism. These are the same guy that go around talking about EO. As a matter of fact, random Catholic. What happens when I show up to a room full of people that believe in once saved, always saved, and free grace and anything that I don't believe? What happens, random Catholic? What tends to happen? What tends to happen, brother? And so, as a man, and we're asking random Catholic now. And when I go to Catholic platforms to debate, none of the Protestants show up. As so-called Protestants, I say so-called Protestants because, again, as we've discussed before, I can't hear you, humble servant. I saw your air bubble.
No, I'm not. Don't worry. That was just my some sound going off in the room. No problem.
Oh, okay, cool. Because I know you were having issues earlier.
That was
That's
on my phone. Yeah. I'm on the PC now for a little bit before I go to bed. I got just a couple minutes. I want to
no,
spend
you're good.
time.
You're good.
Yeah.
Now, somebody said, "What's wrong with free grace and no sass?" Feel free to click the link, the freak. Feel free to click the link, the freak. Now, as you can see, now we have a random Catholic here who's no coward, and I want somebody to call him a liar. When JP shows up, they stutter, they sputter, and they flee because they're cowards. Now, I used to attack Catholics. I did. I have to tell you, I did. But I'm sorry, man. So-called Protestants are just as bad. Anything you want to say to that, humble servant? I know that I said a lot there, but what do you feel that the state of the internet is nowadays in the Christian community? Like, what do you feel like? I know that you're very beloved in the Protestant community. You're very beloved, except for that wacko Calvinist that we're not going to mention. But other than that, how do you feel the state of the internet is?
Well,
Where you
I think there's a couple things I've noticed on the web. I was talking about it previously. One is I don't think anybody cares to provide an accurate representation of their opposition, or at least it's not as common as it should be. And another thing is that I've seen is that like I'll get these crazy like comment threads on some of my videos. And then I did a live the other day, for example, because people said, "Oh, it's so easy to prove this. You suck," with the topic I had the other day, and nobody showed up. Two and a half, no, one person showed up who I've talked to before. That's it. And they jumped off real quick. No disrespect to them. I know who that was. We have a kind of a funny relationship, but either way, like nobody comes up. And then people now, what I was told recently is you don't even have to prove your doctrines anymore. You just say this true, and that's it. I was just like, okay, that's a new one. So it's just unfortunate. And this is why I really think, we need to be more educated. I try to do that on my channel, as you know, but like I think we need to be more educated. And I think that it's wild to see how many people like assert things. Then you give them the opportunity to speak and they don't. Yet if you say something they disagree with, you have to prove everything all of a sudden. It's just very interesting double standards and things like that. It's weird stuff.
Yeah. Now, this brother here said the only thing I disagree with you is your take on original sin, which me and humble servant had a very animated conversation about. But we already have had this discussion. Other than that, I appreciate your work on intercession of the saints. And fellas, I talk about everything. You see, I can't be a person that talks about one doctrine. I love doctrine. I explore doctrines of all Christian walks. Catholicism, EO, granted, I haven't done a deep dive on EO yet. I'll be honest. Right? Everything that I do for Catholicism is a spillover of it spills over to EO and then EO by default. You know what I'm saying? But unfortunately, I have not done EO like that because I just don't know them like that. I know Humble Servant was going to start looking into EO. At least he said he was some point
No,
in time.
I have been. I just got to get more of the sources that I need. Some of those books are kind of expensive, but
Yeah, so for me, it's just the remainder kind of thing. So for me, it's okay. I'm talking about Catholic doctrines. The remainder of that goes to EO. Some of it fits, some of it doesn't. I don't know anything about EO, but with Catholicism, even EO, because there are some doctrines that kind of cross over, Protestantism and all these things. I love talking about doctrines, and I already knew that a lot of these Protestants that were riding my coattails, a lot of these Protestants that were sort of pushing me as their hero, when I was talking about Catholicism, everybody and random Catholic as a witness, when I was talking about against Catholicism, everybody was like, "Oh, JP's the man. JP is this, JP's that." As soon as that smoke came down their way and I started testing some of their doctrines, I'm nothing short of a demon. Crazy how the world works. You see what I'm saying? Now, the reason I haven't gone full fledged, crazy, bonkers, bazooka is because I do have a lot of love for Alton, a lot of love for Marlon. If you
Amen.
notice, yeah,
Amen.
if you notice
Me
when
too.
I was talking to Alton, um, I was being so gracious to Alton, because that's my guy, and he was being gracious to me. That's my guy.
Same with me because I was asking questions and not even debating, and he was answering because I've always tried to get a better. I know you've talked about Calvinism positions and so forth before. I always try to learn things before I speak on them, and then I
Mhm.
weigh them in the need to speak on them depending on if they're salvific or not. But
Correct.
when I got to talk to Alton, it was like a great like chance to ask the questions I've been wanting to ask him without debating him. I made it very clear, like I was not debating him. I'm trying to understand the position. So shout out to Brother Alton for taking a few minutes um to answer some of my questions, and so forth, because
Now,
I'm trying to understand.
the freak, you said I'm miss. Oh, JP is just misunderstood. Oh yeah, I hear you, brother. Thank you. Thought he was saying I'm misunderstanding something. I'm like, what the heck am I misunderstanding? Like I just don't agree with Calvinism. Now there is this Calvinist freak named Rational Logic. I'm gonna make it a point to boycott any platform that has him on when I'm on. If I
He's got
go
like 37 accounts or something. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah, he's a freak. He's sick in the head. And what's crazy is that other Calvinists promote him and push him forward like he's some kind of a genius.
What is it there to promote? Like he's never been on a panel.
He has been once.
What panel was it, man? On later hit me up with that link because what I said, I told him myself I wouldn't even engage him anymore until I see him on a panel. And I'm
No,
talking about Calvinist panels. Like Alton's had multiple panels, you've had some, CK has had some, and I'm like, yo, this guy says he loves this topic, and I've never seen him join once.
yeah, bro, he's sick in the head. And quite frankly, he's the type of guys to give Calvinists a bad name. And so going forward, if I ever join a platform and I see rational logic there, I'm gonna tell the host, mute them 24 hours, block them, or I will leave. I don't care if it's a debate. I have a big debate. I know that you and William are not friends at all. I get that. You guys have choice words for each other. I get that, right?
No
However,
worries.
I have a panel with William, not with a panel. No, I have
Debate.
a debate with William, like he's on my team
Yep.
against two free gracers. And if I see rational logic in that debate, and there's gonna be 800 concurrent viewers,
Oh yeah, he's gonna
William
be
will
there.
be if that guy's not blocked, William will be debating on a 2-on-1. It will be a 2-on-1 if that's not
You got to
addressed.
know all his accounts, bro. I got a team that helps me, man. That all glory to our Lord and Savior, man. I got a team.
I might give you mod for that particular debate. I might give you
You
mod.
might need to because he's got multiple accounts. Matter of fact, shout out to all the brethren who help your boy out with that. Because like, yo, he's whack a mole on my joint. You buy. As soon as he show up, bloop, buy. Till I see that dude on the panel, you not go. Oh, he'll come derail your chat. I'm sorry, man. I'm not trying to make this about him, but it's just so much I've seen on the internet. And then he's like, "Oh, I'm in seminary. I can't talk." Don't give me your excuses. Why are you talking at all? Then, if you can type, you can talk. It's a rule of mine.
No, yeah, for sure, bro. That was earlier here. You know what I'm saying? But
Yeah.
bro, humble servant. Look, this is what I say. I have a lot of doctrines. There's a lot of doctrines some people don't agree with. Now, me and Bull for Christ, just about a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, me and him were going back and forth. I was outside. We were talking about doctrines and things like that. And I can respect people that can give me a phone call and talk to me. You know what I'm saying? Hey,
Right.
JP, I have this as a pointer. Bull for Christ hit me up. Said, JP, I have a pointer for you. No problem. You know, if he calls me, hey, JP, I disagree with you here. All right, no problem.
I've done that too. How do you I think I called to say how do you reconcile something? Like people don't think we talk at all. Like it's interesting.
Yeah. And so what I'm saying is that at the end of the day, you have to back up what you're saying, right? You don't just get this is YouTube, but you're also supposed to be a Christian, right? People
Mhm.
forget this is a Christian. Random Catholic, before YouTube, you're a Catholic. Now, I might not agree with your Catholicism, Random Catholic, but you have to, at the very least, be virtuous for Christ. Now, maybe Mary as well, and the saints, I don't know, right? But you have to abide by what the word says regarding you being virtuous.
Can
Okay?
I answer that right quick,
You,
JP?
you can. Let
Just
me finish this sentence. I'm going to let you
all right,
cook.
all
Now,
right.
what does that mean, right? It means if I were talking basketball, random Catholic and humble servant can go in the comment sections and trash me all that they like. But if I'm supposed to be a soul, you shouldn't talk in the comment sections and trash me unless you're prepared, unless you're prepared to give a defense for your statement and your claims.
Amen.
Am I talking to somebody or am I lying here?
No, amen. That's I didn't I know Randall wants to cook. I'm gonna let Randall cook, but I just
No,
want to
it's
say one
good.
thing. I didn't decide to time him for like on my channel. There's been like crazy disagreeing statements, and for the most part, as long as you don't name call, like you're good. But I finally had enough, like weeks and weeks of derailing. I'm like, bro, just and I told him, hey, just join CK's panel or join Alton's panel, whatever. Join somebody's panel when they're talking about this topic so we can hear you. And he won't do it. And that's when I was like, okay, like I no longer view you as a standard participant. I just if you come to my channel, you're instantly blocked. Like I'm sorry because you won't discuss this thing that you say everybody has to know. And all you put the same, it's almost like a Dawa script, man. And the sad thing is I have a high respect for Calvinists, even though I may not necessarily always agree or I don't understand everything. Like a lot of people I really, respect are Calvinists, but they don't act like that. It's just crazy, man. Like that. Even I have a friend. Let's just call him a friend who is we'll just call him a Calvinist for now, right? Even he said he's like, yo, man, that guy's weird, bro. He makes us look bad. I was like, exactly.
Yeah.
So it's
Let,
wild.
let me say this real quick though. Let me say this. And I'm gonna go on the record. And I gotta give him some credit because at the very least he stopped. But I did a lot of people are mentioning CK. I don't appreciate now I speak for myself. Now, random Catholic, I will give you the floor. CK has done hours upon hours upon hours of my content. Sometimes he doesn't even do commentary. He'll put and if I'm a liar, somebody in the comment section call me a liar. The link is right there. Hours. Sometimes the ninja don't even do commentary. Let that joint run. Critiquing me too. Critiquing me. Right? Critiquing me. The man would critique me and do all these things. Has never offered to come to my platform or go to HHS's platform for a mutual platform to have a dialogue on the things that he's critiqued. Now, I give him some credit. At least he stopped. He stopped, right? He hasn't done anything on me because if he does, the Christian thing to do, and this goes for everybody, if you're a Christian and you're going to critique, you must embark. If you bark, you must embark. Okay? If you're going to critique a worldview, there's nobody that I've critiqued that I have not talked to if I have the ability to. Now, if somebody says no, they don't exist, please find me the person. Find me a video of somebody I've critiqued that I have not talked to or attempted to talk to. I went on Jay Dyer's platform. I had 80,000 people. I'm being sarcastic. 80,000 against me. Little old JP won on 80,000. You had that room full of Orthodox went in there. Why? Because I had to. I made videos or I've talked about Jay Dyer. I have to. Those are the rules. You can't critique. And then when somebody says, hey, give me a conversation so I can, at the very least, have a discussion on what you critique me on so we can see if your critiques are valid, as the Bible says, right? Because if you're calling me a false teacher, if you're saying this is wrong, this is that, I am by default now a false teacher, right? I am by default. You are calling me a false teacher. So it is your obligation to show me how I'm a false teacher via conversation. And I went and I did that for Jay Dyer. Guess what? I spoke about Sam Shamoon, did a full debate. Granted, a lot of people would say that Sam Shamoon doesn't offer himself up for debates. I get that. But I went. I went and I did a full debate against Sam Shamoon because I'm a man. Even though Sam Shamoon cursed me out the first 3 times and kicked me out, I'm a man. Humble servant. Humble servant went to William Albrecht's channel 3 times. A debate didn't happen, but he's a man. Feel me? He's a man. And maybe the debate will happen someday. But he's a man. Random Catholic, I got to give him his credit. That man will go anywhere because he's a man. And these are supposed men of God. Humble servant, because I know from certain paradigms you might not think so, but humble servant is a supposed man of God. Random Catholic, dependent on your paradigm, is a man of God. Right? Depending on your paradigm, I'm a man of God. And if I'm a false teacher, if I'm a false prophet, if I'm all these things, if I'm going to hell, it is your obligation to correct me, not go in the comment sections and bark amongst one another. Right? You have an obligation, or don't talk about me, or hit me up privately, or don't cover my videos. See, it's very simple. Don't cover my videos. Don't talk about it, because before all things, you're a Christian. You're a Christian, right? This isn't somebody said, until he said no more show. You're crazy, both for Christ. You're crazy. Yo, you funny, humble servant.
Factual statements. I can't argue with Ball right there. It
No,
seems
y'all
like he's
crazy,
telling the
bro.
absolute truth. But anyway, carry on. Sorry, I just
Yeah. So random Catholic, go ahead, brother. Go get yours, brother. I know you wanted to
Well,
talk.
I just got 4 quick things because I had 3, but now I have 4 because I just wanted to say this first, right? So, in leadership, we teach to praise in public and rebuke in private. I think that's an important concept that everybody should accept. Um, in
I agree,
second thing is I was blessed to be part of the conversation with Alton, Bald for Christ, SBM, and HHS last night. We were talking about Calvinism and sort of learning about the tenets of Calvinism. And it was a very educational and wonderful conversation, and I was blessed to be part of it. 3, I want to answer what you said to me before. I think I'm pretty manly when it comes to going around hostile places and defending my faith, right? But I don't show my face and I don't use my real name, not to remain anonymous, because what I try to do, I believe, is for the glory of God. I don't. None of it's about me. So
amen.
I have no.
Did you lose audio? I just said amen. Oh, okay. I just wanted to say amen. I'm sorry.
I have no need to be the focus of it. And then the 4th thing is HHS earlier on your live, and then now again, you made the statement that you're confused by the fact that people who are defending their faith aren't able to properly put
Hold on, King. Hold on. Sister Nightshade 99. Stop saying I'm looking to learn, not to listen to rants. You don't see my main channel, my sister? All them debates, go learn over there. Carry on, random.
All right, yeah, sure. Yeah, you control your chat. You control your channel the way you need to control your channel. I'm cool, man. But HHS, you said earlier that you are confused or put off by the fact that people who are making an attempt to defend their faith aren't able to properly put into context the opposing position. And I try to be able to do that, but I believe that my gifts lend myself to that. I don't think everybody's gifts do. I think a lot of people, especially on the internet, have enough trouble understanding the concepts of their own faith without being forced to try and put into context every other faith that comes down the pike at them. Right. So from a Catholic perspective, it is very difficult to argue properly with Calvinist versus Lutheran versus High Church versus Evangelical versus Restorationist versus whatever, right? Because there's not a single statement of faith that I can go read like you do polemics against the Catholic Church. Catholicism is easy in that regard because there's literally a source you can go to. You can open up Denzinger and read the whole thing, right?
Amen.
So it's more. So in my estimation, AJS, and I just want you to.
I'll respond in a second. I'm just not trying to interrupt. Yep.
Yeah, it's more difficult for Catholics to do what you want than it is for you to do that same thing against Catholics and Orthodox, in my opinion. Right. That's it.
Yeah. So
humble servant. Humble servant. Let me say this, and I'm gonna let you cook uninterrupted. 5 minutes, 20 minutes, if you like, because this example comes home. Today, humble servant did a video on a young lady. If that young lady says, humble servant, I want to talk to you, I want to have a one-on-one, either privately or publicly, humble servant is entitled to do it because he did an hour or 2-hour live stream on that particular topic. That is the Christian thing to do. And I'm pretty sure humble servant will have that conversation. So that's just a perfect example. Go carry on, brother Humble.
No, what I was gonna say is okay. So it's not that someone doesn't know something. That's normal. The problem is there's no attempt to find out the position or the nuances of the position. So you can't just treat the other position as though it's a monolith. But what happens is people regurgitate things based on where they visit. So, for example, I didn't tell anybody they had to be an expert in all religions all of a sudden. That's not even, I don't even know if that's fair. You know what I mean? Like that's not what I'm saying. But if you go, hey, not you, if somebody gets online and goes, oh yeah, all you Protestants believe this, and it's like, did you even make an attempt to figure out the nuances of any position? So, for example, I can say the same about say like a Sedevacanist, a trad Catholic, and maybe a liberal Catholic, right? I can try to like understand that there are differences potentially in the groups, right? I can try to say, okay.
I just want to do a bit and say you have to walk into a bar at the end of that.
Yeah, right. Yeah. So like I can try to get these nuances and like make them make sense. Now, what any church writes down, yeah, that's also fair game. But a lot of times people come in and they say the same slop stuff and it's quite tiring. Like, for example, they'll go, oh, you're your own pope. That's just a regurgitated line. That's all that really is. I can check against the scriptures due to what sola scriptura actually means and see if something's wrong if it literally flies against scripture. But they just use the same lines. That's like, oh, you're your own pope, bruh. Or that's why you like one of the things I talked about in the video earlier, for example, was, well, that's why you have all these church splits. Well, if you look at the church history, there are other church splits that don't apply to me per se. Yet no one's even investigating that stuff. They just, what I've learned about people is they like to hear what they already believe and not be encouraged to think in a general sense, not all people. And so that's starting to bother me because what'll happen is they'll hear certain things from certain trash apologists, for example, and they'll run out and say them to somebody who is educated. And then when you start rebutting what they say, all of a sudden they feel away. And so, for example, you'll hear something and they just go, and they just assert this thing, and then you're like, actually XYZ. Actually, what about this in church? Actually, what about that? Now they don't know what to do, and they just spit out, for lack of a better phrase, a Dawa script. There are people who are not like this, but this is what I'm running into a lot. I'll get in my comment section, I'll get, it's so easy to prove said doctrine. So I say, okay, well, come up and prove it. No, I don't have to. Now, what if I say sola scriptura is true and they say prove it? I say I don't have to. These are things you can't do if you're trying to argue over sound doctrine. Even the early church, when they argued with heretics, they argued with them. They didn't just go, "We're right by." Like, it just doesn't. It's just not.
Well, at the end, they kind of did. Every time they say anathema sit, they kind of do. But can I just can I just respond right quick and then let you continue to cook? Let me just interject for just a second, right? Because I agree with you 100%. Slop apologetic is bad, and I hate the one-liners, right? I do.
Random, as soon as you finish, let's allow Boulder Christ to participate. He's my guest.
I literally have done the work. I'm not asking for credit. I'm not looking for credit, but I have done the work the last 6 months trying to figure out the nuances of all of the various positions that I have had to have conversations with on CK's live, on Alton's live, etc. Right? I've done the work. I've done the studying, and I'm going to tell you, it's hard. It is not easy to keep all that stuff correct in my head. It's simply not easy.
No, I mean, I want to highlight, it's not easy for me to remember everything in the Roman Catholic Church. I have to take notes and like really dive in. Like, people sometimes think I remember everything. I remember a lot of key stuff, but I take a lot of notes, copious notes, actually. Bald has actually seen them before, an example of them. And so, like, but it comes from a genuine study of the position. So, for example, what I like about you, right, is actually you learn the arguments that we've even stated in certain cases. Like, so I remember when you gave some arguments to a brother in another denomination, which was like a great representation. Actually, I was like, dang. So again, there are people who do it, and not everything is easy. But I just think people, if you don't know a position, just ask it, right? Like, I mean, because not everybody knows every theological term either. I'm human too. I heard AR say it, Anthony Rogers say a theological term once. I was like, what the heck is that? Like, I don't know everything. But I think you should just try to learn what people feel, then attack it. That's why I can't attack certain doctrines, because I don't know them enough. Or I can't state certain things. I don't know it enough, and I try to be gracious. Now, once I read something, that's a whole nother ball game. For example, when I talk about canon law or certain things in Eastern Orthodoxy, it's because I have the rudder. So I'm not just saying it anymore. The church is saying it. Now, people will argue my interpretation. I'm not going to get into that. But that's what I think people need to do. And for example, people often say, well, and I've tried to incorporate this based on feedback. Well, HS, can you tell us more about what you believe, right? Because you're non-denominational, like, tell us what you believe. And I'm trying to do that more, because that's a fair ask. I don't think that's wrong. But what I'm tired of is when I go to a channel, people will say Protestants this thing. And then when they say that, it's a complete caricature. A complete caricature. Like, for example, I know somebody was trying to be funny when this was said when I was on stage with you. But when somebody said Catholics literally, I know you're going to remember the moment I'm talking about. Well, they said Catholics think Mary's the fourth person of the Trinity. I said I ain't saying that. That's a whole nother. That's a caricature.
I was sitting right there, brother.
Yeah, and you know me, I'm like, I can't caricature them. If we're joking, that's funny. We can talk about functional this and whatever, but I don't believe in caricaturing the other party. And I wish we would get that same grace or respect. And that does not include you. I'm talking about you. I'm talking about from people I often see with some of this slop. I know Ball wants to speak. He's been patient.
Well, let me just say one last thing and then Ball go. I just want to say a quick sentence, okay? I agree with you, and I do try to respect the other opinion, even though I'm running a polemic against it. I try to respect it.
Right? It's just so much better to beat stillmen, not strawmen.
Yeah, I absolutely agree with you. And the nuance for me is that for me it's much more entertaining to try and argue against a strong position than a weak one. I find no value in arguing against a weak position.
And I actually feel like it's trash. I was gonna say I feel like a trash individual if I create a straw man and beat it. I can't stand that. Like, I don't even feel good.
Yeah, I guess the frustration. We're gonna let my brother Bolt for Christ cook now. I'll use Bolt for Christ as an example, and then he could segue and say whatever he wants. Now, Bolt for Christ does not agree with me on a lot. Now, I'm not going to say everything because we do agree on a lot, like the deity of Christ and things like that. But I remember we was on the phone for an hour during my break, during my lunch. And we went back and forth for a whole hour on a couple of passages. It was an hour. But he was able to acknowledge how I was seeing the passage, and I was able to acknowledge how he was seeing the passage, or vice versa. You guys know what I mean. And that's what I call a productive conversation. At the end, both for Christ didn't say I'm not saved. He didn't call me a damnable heretic. And we shook hands, and that's that. You know what I'm saying? And that's that. And we disagreed, and we still talk to this day. You see, that's what we need to do. Now, if both for Christ were in the comment sections, going, oh, JP's a heretic, JP's a this, JP's a that, what a blasphemer, JP's attitude is satanic, and blah, blah, blah. And all these, half the comments I see on CK, because people send it to me, people screenshot and send it to me, right? And CK doesn't do anything about it. Granted, it's his platform, but he himself doesn't do anything, right? Because the leader of that doesn't do anything because my platform's open, or we can go run a fair one of his humble servants, right? So he doesn't do anything. The people in the comment sections don't do anything. But Bold for Christ gives me a phone call, and that's that, because he's a man of God. That's what you're supposed to do, right? Because he's a Christian. Now, if this were politics, you can do whatever the heck you want. It's politics. But if you're supposed to be a Christian, right? And again, there's nothing I'm saying here that I wouldn't say to somebody's face. Try me. Try me. Have somebody Bold for Christ, you got your ears to the street. You know what I'm saying? Reach out to me if you hear somebody saying something. Oh, JP, blah, blah, blah. We'll set it up. Let's have a one-on-one conversation. All right? So that's the reality. You know what I'm saying? And I give people respect for that. Bold for Christ does not agree with me on a damn thing regarding Calvinism. But he doesn't bash me in the comment sections. He'll give me a phone call and we'll go at it, or he'll join my panel. And that's the Christian thing to do. Go ahead, Bold for Christ.
Uh, the reason, like the reason that I'm Protestant, right, or I would say, is because
Well, you're not
I
technically a Protestant.
yeah,
Technically.
whatever. I don't care about those people, man. The Catholics say the same thing. We are not Catholics, and the term Catholic is just mean the universal believers. I don't care what people think. I know what I mean. I'm a I believe in the Bible, right? That's my authority. And if I want to say I'm protesting against the Catholic Church and the Orthodox Church, I can say that. Like nobody can take that away from me. You know what I mean? And what one thing that I would say is that people have in here in the internet area, people have the audacity to call other people heretics. My brother, this they like for example me and I know SHS because he has shared multiple times. The reason that we go against Catholic and Orthodox is because they say that we are not safe. I don't have a problem. You want to think you want to lose, think that you can lose your salvation, that God didn't elect you. I'm cool with that, my brother. You're not calling me a heretic. I'm not calling you a heretic. I see what you see in the scriptures. I understand why you come to the conclusions you come. It's cool. We can disagree. As long as you say, hey, you're my brother in Christ, we're walking together, iron sharpens iron, we battle it out, you bring your point of view, I bring mine, and we speak on it. That's it. But if you go from there to say that I'm not saved, then we it's a different waters, right? It's a whole different conversation that we're gonna have, and that's the only problem that people, right? They go against Eastern Orthodox and the Catholics, but yet they have the same spirit of condemning everybody else that don't believe what they believe. And when they say that those people are the own Pope, they really are,
Preach,
because
brother, preach.
they act in the same way that the Pope act, giving anathematization to everybody that doesn't believe what they believe. And I
Now,
don't.
now, Timothy, let me address Timothy. JP teaming up with Willie and Mr. Despicable. Well, I could actually make the same case for 95% of the so-called Protestants that are on this internet. But I don't say that. As a matter of fact, Humble Servant and I had a very, I'm going to just put this on blast. Humble Servant and I had a conversation. I said, humble servant, how could you go on this person's out of curiosity, obviously, like I wasn't telling him what to do. He's a grown man. And I have to like freaking pull teeth to tell humble servant what to tell me what to do. I'm like, humble servant, tell me what to do already. And he don't be trying to tell me because, that's his policy. But me and him had a conversation. I go, humble servant, how could you go on this platform? He said, JP, do you know all the people I have an opportunity to talk to when I go to that platform? And he goes, and I understand why you go on that platform. He goes, JP, I understand why you go to that platform, because you have an opportunity to talk to people who believe that you can worship Satan and still make it to heaven. And guess what happened? Me and humble servant shook hands. I said, humble servant made a hell of a good point. He's on that platform, and I believe that that particular person is a lot of things. And I'm in a platform where he believes a particular person's a lot of things. But I'm going to that platform to address people that believe that you can worship the devil and still be saved. And humble servants going to a particular platform to address particular individuals that believe particular things, which I will not say here. It's not my business. Humble servant will tell you guys what he feels led to do when it's his time, what he feels God called him to do. But was that not a productive conversation, humble servant?
No, that's a pretty accurate representation of it too. Like, again, people. That's why I stress to people that sometimes you see things and you don't know, but it doesn't mean, especially anybody who knows me, it doesn't mean the conversation wasn't had. I'm telling you that right now. I don't purport myself to be something online that I'm not. I just don't. So if that was a real conversation, that's a pretty decent enough representation of it. It's true. I'll say that up front. It's very true what he said.
But yes, let me get back to Bull for Christ because he was still cooking. It's true. A lot of Protestants act worse. That's it. For me, it's 95%. The evangelicals, the Protestants, as a matter of fact, for me, anecdotal, they're worse than the Catholics. Because take it for what it's worth. Now, granted, HHS says they don't really show much around anymore. But take it for what it's worth. Anytime I did a panel, Catholics would be here. Anytime I did, of course, relative to back in the day, right? Obviously, HHS ran them off. You know what I'm saying? We know about that, obviously. But granted, they were here. They tried. If I run an open platform right now, hey, free gracers, hey, Calvinists, hey, Osassers, hey, people that say I'm works-based, come join and prove it.
Can I
Come
say one
join.
thing? Not to interrupt you.
Yeah, go ahead.
It's like you and you're specifically talking about people who beat their chest and demand that or try to beyond forcefully assert that is true, but the second you have the opportunity for a conversation, they don't show. I've seen that. It was kind of disappointing to me. They didn't even offer a neutral platform.
Do you remember the
I do.
individual?
No specific names, but
Okay.
I do remember a moment where that occurred. Let's say it like that. Can we say it like that?
Yeah,
So I remember a moment.
that's when I was going against Catholics to make matters worse.
Yeah, and it was just like, hey, well, okay, let's just be on a neutral platform. You know
Oh
what I'm
my
saying? And
God.
people have seen me mod. I am more than fair.
Hold on, let
And yeah,
me address the
I'm
freak
sorry.
real quick. The freak, this is my second channel, brother. This is my second channel. It's my second channel, brother. This is my second channel. I still get those numbers, brother. Granted, I do have some high profile people that come on my channel all the time on YouTube. God bless them. Of course, same thing with HHS in the sense that, let me be very clear, this man HHS has made his rounds, although I am a little bit upset at him because they say don't meet your heroes. Unfortunately, yeah, we don't got to talk about that.
I didn't know. That's all. If you know,
Yeah,
you know, but I didn't know.
yeah,
In my
just
defense.
don't meet your heroes, folks. That's all I'm gonna say. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, brother, the freak. Go subscribe to my main channel, brother. I'm still pulling those numbers. Carry on, Bull for Christ. Oh yes, Bull for Christ. So before I pass it back to you, this brother speaking facts. Evangelicals and so-called Protestants. The reason I say so-called Protestants, they act worse than the very Catholics they're critiquing, and they do the same things. Carry on, Bull for Christ.
So yeah, I don't even remember what I was saying before, but
You actually were
yeah,
talking about your point of the own pope is where you left
yeah.
off.
So for example, and and I know that you, for example, HHH, you see it as they making a characterization of our point of view, but in reality, we are our own pope. If you take it to the logical conclusion, right? Only the magisterium and the pope, I'm talking specifically when it comes to the Catholic, only they can interpret scripture. We probably can say that we can do that. So for them, we are our own pope. It's like literally they don't have that. They have to submit the intellect in the will. I'm not willing to do that for nobody. But bro, if the way that I came to read the scriptures, I was in atheist, and when I started reading the Bible, I was crying out to God, mad
Amen.
at God, saying mad at God, because people come like no, I was mad. I was like, if you truly God, show yourself to me in the scripture. Show me that you are true. Like, let me see that. Like, I don't want to hear it from nobody else. If you really are a relational God, have a relationship with me. Show yourself to me. And boom, here I am. Reading a
Hmm.
bunch of books, giving my life to Christ, and doing the best that I can to defend that God that I believe in. But that, from their point of view, I'm being my own poet, my own poet, and my own magisterium, because I get to make my own decisions what the scripture say based on my conscience. And I think going back on that is that's the reason why I don't understand how people be condemning other people. Because if you see somebody reading the scripture, making a biblical point, and this is what the Lord had put in their heart, who is you to tell them that they are condemned, or that when they are reading the scriptures? Like, I understand when you're talking about heretics and that deny the deity of Christ, or plainly uh, skip verses and don't even try to address what is in the verses. That I see, but like, for people that are truly seeking the Lord's face and reading and praying about things, for you to go and just call them heretic just because they don't agree with you on something, man, I think that's well crazy.
Yeah, I think I think Gavin Ortland talked about this, and I think it was a great thing that he said, which when he said there's certain things as Christians we have as non-negotiables, and some things we can just disagree on. And I think that's a
Amen.
great way to kind of approach things, right? And there's also the time element, right? Obviously, y'all know how I feel about deathbed confessions and things like that. I don't think you got to master theology on your deathbed. You just know who Jesus is. You know what I'm saying? You ain't got a lot of time. but in terms of certain things, I thought he was well stated in that there's certain things we have as non-negotiable, and certain things that we can just disagree on. I don't talk about eschatology. I don't talk about a lot of what people would call secondary stuff. I
Yeah, I
just
don't, I
don't. I
don't,
just
I don't like this eschatology neither though.
Yeah, I mean that's that. Everybody knows. Like that's just not my thing. But the thing I care about is making sure people know the gospel and so forth. And anything somebody tells me is salvific. It doesn't matter the group. That's one thing I stress to people. It's not the group. Once somebody tells me something salvific, I gotta delve into it. I have to, because you're telling me that's in essence required for my eternal salvation. That's serious to me. That's not like a game. A wise brother once told me when he was praying. He said he heard something one time. It's a wise brother, right? And how could it not be in this statement if you're hearing from God? He said, "Hey, forever is a long time, and it's serious to me. That's why I do it. When things aren't, I've said this about, and we know I talk about certain Catholic stuff. I've said this before. I don't know how many times. If it wasn't attached to salvation, I wouldn't even talk about it.
Yeah,
I
me
wouldn't
too.
even
I
talk about
agree with that.
it. Yeah, I would just like, cool. You want to believe fill in the blank doctrine, and I don't have to.
And let
Sure,
me say
cool.
this, and we'll allow random Catholic. And I know Zanzi wants to say something. I don't know how long Zanzi's been hearing, but Zanzi's a Calvinist. We and him been texting back and forth, and I
Oh, I
like
didn't know that.
yeah, this guy's cool. And me and this guy text privately. Now me and Sanzi got a relationship. The brother wants to hit me up about something privately. He can. You know what I'm saying? He
No,
can.
absolutely. And I think it's important. I think I was telling Zon the same thing. Like, I don't know enough. First of all, I don't even know if I would argue against Calvinism because, again, grace through faith, what they believe. You can get into nuances. But I was telling the other day, like, I'm trying to just understand something. Like, everybody thinks you hear a term theologically. It's like, oh, I want to go to war. I don't work like that. I'm like, can you help me understand this position? Anthony Rogers recommended a good book as well, so I can learn about it. And then if I see something that's problematic to the
Now let
point
me
that it
ask you.
needs to be discussed, then I say something.
Now Zanzi, let me ask you a question. Me and you've talked privately.
Mm-hmm.
I think we've touched on doctrine stuff lightly, nothing too deep, but lightly. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Do I seem like the monster that people put me out to be on the internet?
Not at all.
And are
Yeah.
you a Calvinist?
I don't call myself. I
A
call
five
myself
pointer,
reformed.
five
Yeah.
pointer, five pointer. You're a five pointer. Okay.
Yeah.
So brother. Now I do want to allow. I'm gonna let you cook in a bit, Zanzi.
I have one question, JP. I
Sure.
got out of bed
Hmm.
just because I saw you. I saw the message, and I was like, man, he went on to put up the stream. I missed the second part of that thing. Did something change, or am I missing something? I'm just catching up. Like I've been here for like 5 minutes.
Wait.
Like
So you don't know what's really going
I
on?
don't know what's going on. I was like, is
I'll
this what
explain
I
it.
think it is? Oh, yeah.
You know what? I'll explain it in a minute, and then we'll allow random Catholic to defend himself. All right. So, brother, in short, I have a critique of so-called Protestants. The reason I say so-called Protestants is because the true Protestants that I talk to would say that none of us are Protestants. You feel me? So I just say so-called Protestants, right? The people you would see in CK's channel, the free gracers, all these guys, right? I have an issue with them. My issue is that they critique Catholics, but they do the very same things, right? They backbite, they talk behind your back, they'll review your videos, they'll say that you're not saved, they'll say that you're a heretic, they'll say all these things. Then, when an opportunity arises for them to defend what they said, they won't do it and they'll run. I say that that's cowardly. Now, Zanzi, I told you to come to William Albrecht's channel to defend your once saved, always saved views. You did it. I said, Zanzi, debate me one on one on the channel on once saved, always saved. I sent you an email. You immediately did it. You know why? Because if you disagree with me on something, we're gonna have a conversation, and that's the Christian thing to do, to have a conversation. Well, it seems like a lot of people are now running away from that, and they're not doing the Christian thing. And what they're doing is that they're running their mouths in the comment section. JP's workspace, JP's this, JP's that. He's a heretic. He's going to be Catholic. He's going to be this. And then when I give them an opportunity to substantiate such statements, right? Where you have CK does 8-hour shows on me. I'm being sarcastic, but he'll stream my stuff, do commentary. Sometimes he doesn't even do commentary. He'll just run my shows and doesn't even give me credit. And I want a conversation on a mutual platform, it doesn't happen. Same thing with the people that follow his channel, it doesn't happen. So that's an unfortunate state of affairs, which it shouldn't be that way. Now, random Catholic is a Catholic. We all know that. Now, humble servant just said some things. No, excuse me. Bull for Christ just says some things about Catholicism on how he disagrees. Now, if random Catholic wants to respond to Bull for Christ and have a mini conversation on that, I think that Bull for Christ and humble servant should do that because they made claims. They have to substantiate those claims. And that's how Christians should act. If I go on YouTube and I go, Zanzi, look, tomorrow we're going to have a open platform on justification. Why would I talk behind your back, Zanzi? I would rather invite you to have a conversation. That is what Christians do. So that's what the whole 1 hour platform was about. And then humble servant says some things, random says some things, and bold says some things. That's the recap, brother.
Okay. But when you say you're not a Protestant,
I'm an evangelical, brother.
okay. All right. That's all. I got out of bed for that, man. I was like, what's going on? Okay.
No, yeah. I'm an evangelical. I'm an evangelical, and
Yeah, heretic.
you're an evangelical too, brother. I already broke this down to you, but yeah, brother, that was it.
Um. Okay. I'm gonna just say one thing, JP, as regards to
Go
the
ahead.
panel tonight. Um. I'll say this. When I see like free grace theology, I'm not too familiar with that branch, to be completely honest with you. Um. My Christianity didn't start in America, so it started in India, and then I moved here. No one there believes anything like this, right? So it's a bit hard for me to understand this perspective. So when I watch them, and then when we talk about OSAS, and then someone like me goes there, I just gotta be honest, I don't feel comfortable kind of sharing the stage with that perspective as representing OSAS together. If that makes
Amen.
sense to you, you know what I mean.
I
I wouldn't feel comfortable
No, I
with
always
that.
try to make the I always try to make a distinction. I always try to
real
make that distinction. You
real
do
quick
know that both for
real
Christ.
quick
Oh, go
real
ahead, go
quick,
ahead.
JB. That saying I feel the same way as you though, because JP goes to the panels and he challenges people that believe once saved always saved. And I don't even use that term anymore. I used it once and I saw how everybody thought I was a free grace. I'm like, man, I ain't doing this anymore. I just say perseverance of the same. That's it. I don't think you can lose your salvation. So type of way. But I feel the same type of way. When JP is going other people, I stay out. Because I go over there, then I make a claim, yeah, you cannot lose your salvation, but yeah, you do have to show fruit. And then I'm a heretic. Now I'm on JP side. When they speak, I gotta go against that. So I'm like in the middle. To me, it's unfruitful.
Can I ask a quick question to Zaz? Because I didn't know what he just said. What's Christianity like in India, brother?
It's very different than America. People take it much more seriously, I would say, than they do over here. It's not a culturally Christian country,
Right, because it's a
right?
minority view, right?
It's yeah, 3% of the population. So if you're a
Wow.
Christian there, you're taking, you know what I mean? Like you're taking things seriously. Most Christians there are either Catholic or a little bit of Orthodox, but mostly historic Protestant, like Lutheran, Anglican,
Mm-hmm.
Presbyterian. Baptists are there, but they're kind of less. And yeah, so it's not like you have the privilege of just knowing the gospel. Like most people don't know the gospel, so they take it very seriously. When I say seriously, they'll finish a full workday, hop on at 9:30 or 10, and then do a Bible study and prayer until 1 o'clock. You know, they take it very, very
No,
seriously.
I appreciate that
Yeah,
because that's one place where I haven't been. I mean, I haven't been everywhere, but I've been a lot of places, right? That I've always been curious how Christianity functions. We don't have to derail this stream. I know how to get a
yeah,
hold of
yeah,
you, but
of
I
course.
appreciate that perspective for others to hear because a lot of times when you don't travel and see Christians around the world, you have like kind of a view that you think everything is kind of like your country. So I appreciate you sharing that.
Yeah, and there's a question by Freak. Did they accept that Jesus has authority? No. So the Christians there get pretty serious. I've seen people, they'll break up their idols. So they'll go in, they'll break up any any image, any idol. They'll break it up in the streets. And we've known people that have passed away because of persecution, because of things like that. So no, they don't just you worship Jesus alongside a Hindu god. They'll break it up for sure.
Yeah, it's amazing what happens when you take stuff very seriously and you are in the land of idolatry. Well said, brother.
Mhm.
And the persecution you undergo as well, being a 3%er, for example, in a population as vast as India. For those who don't know, it's a pretty big number of people there.
Now let me say this. Somebody said I called free gracers a cesspool. Now, if any free gracer feels offended about that, they can request to talk to me on his humble servants channel or come on mine. Until then, I have no comments. Yes, I said that his channel is a cesspool of free gracers. And guess what I did? I joined his channel and I said I wasn't going to apologize. And I said I was the one that put free gracers on the map. And no one said a dang thing. Were you a witness to that, Zanzi?
I was not.
All right, humble servant, did you witness that?
I missed the last part because I was typing a comment section.
All right,
Sorry.
did you see when I went on CK's channel and I said, hey, I said that I called the free gracers a cesspool and I do not apologize.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I saw that. You said
Okay.
I'm not apologizing for what I said. Yeah, I was there.
Okay, so fellas, like
I was sitting later on. I was sitting there with you, JP.
a
I was
random
sitting there.
Catholic
I
that a
was
free
lurking.
gracer, did any free gracer do a damn thing?
No, no.
They don't.
I mean, Layman didn't we have a conversation with
Layman laughed. Layman laughed. He thought it was hilarious.
yeah.
But
I mean, you know, and Layman of all the free gracers, and I think there are good free gracer arguments out there, but of them all, I mean, Layman is the guy who's
No,
popular.
Layman is good, but I've known Layman for years. I've known Layman for years. But here's the
but
point. Here's the point, fellas.
real quick, JP, because I'm gonna go to sleep. Just want to say,
All
but
right.
I really don't understand the position of you being a free gracist and calling somebody else a heretic. from your perspective, everybody that loses Christ is saved. How are you condemning us that we claim and proclaim Christ? Like that doesn't make no sense to me whatsoever. I can not wrap my mind around that. Like
Now,
it's
Christian King TV, I was criticizing your cesspool of a platform of free gracers because they talk crazy, but then when I show up, nobody does anything. And I think that's a huge problem. I think that really is because if you're going to talk crazy about somebody, you got to back it up, right? If
Well,
you're going to
well,
say that I'm a damnable heretic, if you're going to say I'm not saved, you got to back it up. And
before
so,
Bald goes,
and so
good
before
Christian,
night,
Bald goes to
everyone.
and so Christian King,
no,
I give you your credit that you have not done any videos on me anymore critiquing me or critiquing my worldviews. And you could do that if you want, brother. You could take all of my content and use it for your benefit, brother. But if I say I want a conversation on something that you critiqued, well, then, brother, you're obligated to do it as a Christian, right? As a Christian. Now, if you don't do anything, that's fine. But yeah, that is a problem. That is a problem in the Christian community. These guys are worse than Catholics, and I've said that on the record. Until a free gracer, and again, the reason I talk this way is because I really believe what I say. I believe it, and if I'm wrong, then there can be a free gracer to do something about it. But unfortunately, I have free gracers hitting me up in the back end going, yeah, JP, you're right. So even the free gracers agree with my comments on free grace. Even they agree.
Could I
Right?
ask you a question, JP?
Yeah, go
well,
ahead.
before
What?
one second before Bald gets away, because JP, you were going to give me an opportunity to respond to the
Yes,
claims
yes.
made by.
Yes, Bold, stay stationary for one moment. What's your question, Zanzi? And I'll answer it quickly and I'll
I'll
let
let
you
them
ask.
go. I'll ask after.
No, I what I want to do is I just want to yield all of that time, right? Because Bald and I've defended my position against Bald and HHS in the past, and I don't need to rehash it all again here. That's not what this is for, right? So I just don't. I just want to yield all of that time.
No worries.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't even have an interest in just at the fatigue of streaming. I could probably I've got a few
What's your
minutes
Oh,
what's,
left.
what's your
Yeah.
question,
CK is
Zanzi?
here. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out.
I missed the first part about you. You mentioned free gracers are saying this, but then you also mentioned a bunch of Calvinists are saying stuff about what are they? I can't recall what they're saying. What are they saying about you exactly? These people. I'm just curious.
Workspace. Christian King will tell you it's on his channel. What are Calvinists
Calvinists.
saying about me, Christian King? A lot of nasty stuff. Christian King will tell you it's his channel. I get screenshots all the time.
They're saying your works based. Calvinists are saying that.
Works based, heretic. I'm gonna be a Catholic. All of these things. I mean, CK will tell you he's there in the flesh, and so would Joshua. Joshua will tell you he's on those platforms as well. At least he watches. I don't have to say anything. HHS will tell you. Random will tell you. Let them tell you the nasty things these people say.
Hey, can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we hear you now.
Oh, okay. Yeah, JP. I mean, everybody. There's people that say, stuff about me. Like it's part of the job.
No, understood, brother. But if it's about doctrine, you have to substantiate it.
Yeah, it's about doctrine too. Yeah.
Yeah, you have to. CK, look, if somebody talks behind your back regarding doctrine, they say you're a unsaved, reprobate heretic. They owe
People
you,
say that about me all the time.
but they owe you a conversation. They have to substantiate it because if they're supposed Christians, right? If they're supposed Christians, biblically speaking, either they talk to you privately or they give you a public conversation. So it's not as simple as, oh, it comes with the job because we're not doing basketball commentary. We're not doing politics. We're Christians. And if Christians are conducting themselves in a way where they're slandering you or slandering me and they don't substantiate it, we then create a very toxic culture. We are responsible. I don't allow anybody on my channel to talk about anybody in the comment sections. Because if you're going to do that, you will have to come to the stage and you will have to. I'm so sorry, Random. I'll allow you to do what you got to do. But you will have to come to the stage and substantiate. Now, if I'm talking about basketball and they go, hey, JP, the Knicks suck. Oh, yeah, JP, the Knicks suck. JP's a terrible basketball. That's different. But this is Christianity. This is Christianity. And as far as I'm concerned, Christian King, I don't know any Catholic YouTubers that are doing videos on you, critiquing what you believe point by
I
point.
wish they would.
Yeah, but if they did, they owe you a conversation. If not, they're not walking in Christianity. That's what I'm saying. And if somebody wants to prove me wrong biblically, then I'm all for it. But when I go on these platforms, whether it be yours or any other platform, these individuals don't do anything. And that's a problem. Because go ahead, Random. I know you.
I just want to say one thing regarding exactly what you just said. Okay, I don't do response videos. I don't create content, right? But I do and have spent quite a lot of time on CK's channel, right? And one of the things that I don't get to do on CK's channel is to actually have conversations with CK, because the panel opens up and now there's 17 guys on there, all chirping at me because I'm Catholic. You know what I mean? And now that's my night. Instead
was it?
Schedule something specific,
hold on,
Random.
you guys-
Let's schedule something specific.
Hold on.
Go ahead, JP.
HHS will go first after me. HHS will go first, then the CK. All right, now watch this. This is a perfect example right here. Look at what just manifested here. Look, she goes, JP, didn't you call the CK's channel a cesspool of free racers? Yes, I did. I did say that free racers are a cesspool. Guess what I did 3 weeks later? I went back up and I said, do something about it. And I laughed in their faces because that's what I believe about that doctrine, that it's a cesspool of garbage. That's what I believe about free graces. These guys believe you could worship the devil and still be saved. So I went up there and no free gracer did a damn thing. So now watch the contrast. Now this fella here said JP couldn't shoot a hoop if we're installing a new pair of earrings. Now he's talking basketball. So one is a Christian comment coming at my Christianity. The other is coming at basketball. You see, one is a YouTube comment, another one's pertaining to Christianity. Either we take Christianity seriously or we don't. All right? Go ahead, HHS, and then CK, and then Random Catholic.
Well,
One thing
I would actually like to ask a question.
Wait, I didn't get to respond to what you said. Hold on.
No, I just want to know if JP can actually shoot hoops, because I'd like to play
He can.
one-on-one.
Well, I could answer that after HHS. Go ahead, HHS.
So one thing I wanted to say, because I don't cape for people, but I just want to make sure things are stated correctly. I have seen CK, if somebody specifically asked for a one-on-one, him do it. In fact, recently, to CK's credit, because boy, there was somebody who put they wanted to talk to CK one-on-one, and I was chomping at the bit, and I know he saw my comment.
Yeah.
And he did not pull us up. So I think that sometimes people don't do that. And I think people, if they would just state, hey, CK, I'd really like to talk to you, but it's a one-on-one. And most of us willingly leave the stage. Like, matter of fact, I think Repairer and CK had a one-on-one. Then a troll came up. I jumped up to help the troll leave, and then I went back off. I definitely think these things can happen. I just think people don't state that or don't try to establish that while they're in the comments. But the last person, I was there, who literally said I'd like a one-on-one with CK. CK told the whole panel we were all kicked to the back. I eventually had to go, but I was listening for as long as I could, even after I left. And I just think that's something that should be asked for. I don't think people mind all the time if you catch them or if you establish that that's what you want to do. And being that I've seen CK do it multiple times, I want to just make sure I state that as a witness. I've seen him do it multiple times. And the last time I was ready to kick through my computer screen for CK to let me up, but he was like, nah, player, I said one-on-one. So I just think that that's something we need to establish.
Now let me address something real quick, and it's CK's turn. Let me
me
address this. My point is, JP, is that you were saying we have to be Christian, and that's how I feel about that doctrine, brothers and sisters. If you believe you can worship the devil and still be saved, you're playing with dangerous waters. You're playing with very dangerous waters. So I don't take that back. Now, if somebody has an issue with what I said, they can do something about it. I'll join up HHS's channel or I'll join up CK's channel. If somebody has an issue, then I will back it up. But guess what? No free gracer had an issue. They didn't have an issue. All right, go ahead, CK, and then we'll move down the line.
Yeah, I feel the same way. When I'm talking about Catholic and Orthodox, there'll be people that bark in the chat and don't come up. So yeah, not everyone's gonna do that, but should they? Yes, they definitely should.
Bro, there's this particular female. I'm not gonna say any name, but I had to call HHS privately. I had to call HHS privately to get counsel, because I do call HHS for counsel. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying call HHS or email HHS for counsel. He's a very busy man, so I don't want to put that on the man's plate. But I did. I said, HHS, there's a female that follows me everywhere. Wherever I am, this female follows me online just to spew Calvinism and counter act all my points. We don't got to say who it is. CK, if you've been around the block, I'm sure you've seen a pattern of somebody that is always on every single debate, every single discussion, or anything that has to do with me. She is there. I said I had enough. I called HHS. I said, HHS, I'm gonna have to put some termite. What is it called? The explosives? Termite?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to put some
You talking about trinitrotoluene? Thermite. I'm sorry, thermite. You talking thermite grenade?
Yeah, like the cartoons, bro. Like the cartoons, bro. The Looney Tunes.
Oh no, that's dynamite, bro. That's TNT. Yeah, that's
dynamite.
Trinitrotoluene is what it actually is.
So what's termite?
Well, toluene. Thermite is rust, and it just burns really hot. It
that's what we use to burn sensitive electronic equipment.
No, I'm talking
dynamite. What you're thinking about?
The red joints from the cartoons. What is that?
Yeah, trinitrotoluene.
Yeah,
it's random pronunciation trick. I was always
sorry. You know me.
No. I do know you. I'm saying I was always taught the other pronunciation. I wasn't saying you were wrong.
Let me show you
is the pronunciation I was always.
Let me show y'all what I'm talking about, man. Y'all see this right here? This is what I'm talking about, fellas. Right here.
TNT, bro. Look, it's on the box, bro. Wait. Go back left. It's on the box, bro. What I tell you? TNT.
Is that real? Does that exist?
Yeah, trinitrotoluene, bro.
Yeah. I've only seen it in the cartoons, brother.
Yes, it's very. There's see it on the box. See it on the red box right there.
TNT is a real thing.
Yeah, TNT is very real, boss.
Well, fellas, that's what I wanted to do, bro. I was about to explode like TNT, man. I say, yo, bro, this female's trying me, man. Everywhere I go, every turn I make, there she is spewing that garbage Calvinism, man. And by garbage Calvinism, I mean I can't do anything. She's somewhere spewing it. She's the female rational logic. Now, Zanzi, how would you feel, Zanzi, if you do live streams? And everywhere you are, Zanzi, I am spewing Arminianism. I guess that's what it is.
To be honest with you, most of the places I am, rational logic is there, and I don't like it. I've said, hey, let's calm down.
Bro, even if it has nothing, bro, it could be live stream on Candy, bro. That man will come in there and start talking about Calvinism, bro.
Even if the topic is not on Calvinism, Rational will make it about Calvinism.
Bro, if
he'll derail your whole chat. I think that's what his intent really is, by the way.
He might be a cage stager.
Fellas, now I have a female rational logic following me around. So now think about that, man. A female rational.
You do be picking up stalkers. We're not gonna say no names, but you had another one, remember? But don't say no name. But you remember that. The other one, bro. You remember? You know we was
male or female.
No, I ain't say female. The other one, though. Remember we was talking about? It was weird. We was gonna have the live stream. I know you remember what I'm talking about,
bro. I have so many stalkers, bro.
See, that's how many stalkers you got.
Text me privately.
I text you privately. Don't worry, but it come through in a second.
So JP, I'm gonna ask you a question. I think it's a question that a lot of people wanted to kind of ask you. This thing that you're about to do with William, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not making a critique about it, but I am asking the question of, a lot of people are gonna ask, how does that look in front of people? Because on the one hand, you're defending a doctrine, and I get that you're defending the possibility of losing salvation. On the other hand, this is my only contention there. What you mean and what he means is probably not the same thing, right? because when he's saying the word works, and let's say you say the word works, you guys are not talking about the same thing, right? You're not talking about the Roman sacramental system, right? And the other thing is when you're talking about enduring, right? He's talking about penance and the Eucharist and all of the rest of them, right? And when you say endure, I know what you're talking about. There's enough nuance there that I think it's at
That's
least
a fair. That's a fair
worth
critique.
asking what this means, right?
That's a fair critique. And you know what? Um, that is such a fair critique that I will clarify what I mean when I use those terms. I think that when I use those terms, most people know that I don't mean it in a Catholic state of affairs, but I'll make sure to clarify. For me, brother, is this. Let me be honest with you. I don't have a platform on YouTube. Even if I were to go on HHS's platform, and I love that brother to death, his audience will be against me. Protestants are my enemies. That's just what it is, right? Because I questioned a couple of doctrines. Unfortunately, I'm starting to realize that when I go on a Catholic platform or something along those lines, it's a little bit more neutral, right? So, neutral in the sense that I'm not a Catholic, but at the same time, I'm not a Protestant, and I pretty much get away with being fair, like it's fair. And so when other Protestants and people that go there, I'm able to have a fair platform to talk. But you know what? I accept that criticism. And when I'm on there, I'm going to make sure that my distinctions are made very clearly. And you'll be there as well tomorrow. So, of course, we'll have those conversations.
I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Before you keep going, because I'm light on time, JP, check your messages.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, bro! I didn't even.
Yeah.
I didn't check. It just hit me like a bro. I promise you, bro. I promise you, bro. It hit me like a rainbow, my brother.
Yo, I'm gonna get up out of here, man. I'll be listening in the down there in the comments, man. Let me get up out of here for the night. Y'all know work been crazy. It's a pleasure to be with you, brothers. I pray God keeps working through us all. You know what I'm saying? I pray that I'm
You'll at least
what
hopefully
I do.
you'll at least get Thanksgiving off, right?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Because you're always talking about how your work's crazy.
Those who know me know, like that's why JP said what he said. Like, but I don't talk about it often. But God is good, though. I'm not complaining. God is good.
Now,
God bless you all. I'll catch y'all.
Weren't you a person that you sent me a couple of screenshots and you were asking me what's going on? Was that you on Discord?
Who?
You, Joshua. You sent me a couple of messages on Discord, right?
It's been a long time since I shot you anything.
Okay. And that wasn't you. That was
not. I'm looking. Well, your chat history with me is not too far down, but I don't see any screenshots in here.
Okay, so then it was somebody else.
Yeah, when I came in, I kind of just wanted to unmute and just say, hey, like right away, but I noticed you were in the middle, like smack in the middle of a conversation.
Now, somebody said it's okay to be Catholic, JP. Brothers and sisters, I will never be Catholic. There are just some doctrines that I can't, like, listen, man, I can't lie to myself. You feel me? Like, I can't lie to myself. I can't. It's the same thing with Orthodox. It's just a couple of doctrines that I cannot accept. Either I'm going to have to lie and pretend I accept them, or I'm going to have to be true to myself and not accept them. So I just go to a small evangelical church and I leave it there. And if the Catholic Church says I'm going to hell for it, well, then so be it. But I can't go to
JP.
Yeah, go ahead.
How come out of everyone, you chose William to be your debate partner? A Catholic on that topic.
That's a good question.
I mean, they have they have a bit of a history. I remember seeing you on a panel on a couple of panels with William. I think doing debates.
I've known William for a few years. To let the record go straight there. Why I chose William? Well, to be fair, and I don't want to be really disrespectful, but you look at a guy like HHS, he doesn't have a position, so it's not like I could choose him. You don't have a position, I can't choose you. So who's out there that has a position that I can choose to debate that topic that's competent? Kelly Powers? No, Kelly Powers believes in once saved, always saved. Marcus Rogers, I don't know if he even believes in the Trinity. Corey Minor, he doesn't have time, right? I was supposed to debate Sam Shamoon and William with Corey Minor. He doesn't have time, right? So then who do I have that I can debate that topic with? Give me some names. They don't exist, right? They don't exist. And so that's why my options are limited. And take it for what it's worth. He is a good debater when it comes to that topic. I agree with his stance on why biblically once saved always saved is not true. Now there might be some backloaded things there, but that's why. So in short, that's why. Somebody said God Logic. He doesn't have a stance on it. God Logic does not have a stance on it. Now I challenge you guys. Find me 3 people that have that believe that you can forfeit salvation like I do. Find me 3 people. Nate, he's busy. He's doing his college. He's in school for IT. So that's done. So who do we have? Well, can you give me 3 names?
Yeah,
Okay, go ahead.
fair enough. Oh, what about facts?
Facts only.
Yeah, Fax might end up stabbing one of those guys before the debate is over. So,
Yeah, the dude does get pretty heated.
he gets a
I
little
will admit.
intense. That's my brother, but he gets a little intense. So, yeah, that's not for him. I can't put him in that position.
And
I mean, if
I'm not super
the only
confident.
thing we can come up with, CK, is facts, I think that proves my point. You know what I'm saying?
And I'm not super competent in the doctrine either, but I mean, I can't guarantee that if I start engaging with people that I won't start manifesting myself, because
Well, yeah, it's very easy to
manifest. I'm pretty green still when it comes to like debating. I mean,
bro, imagine a free gracer telling you that someone who's an active child rapist can make it to heaven even if he dies child raping, because he believed at one point in time he can die with a child in his hand that he was graping because he believed at one point in time. You think that's easy to stomach? You think that's easy to deal with? Most people can't handle that. They can't.
So like
Well,
a
I
Zonzi,
personally, from the Catholic perspective, I've done it already. JP and I have sat together on panels and debated against.
Well, real quick, Joshua, find me 3 people, brother.
I can't, not right now, anyways.
So I guess my point stands.
I don't know for the higher profile guys. Like I don't know.
Somebody said Calvin.
Gavin Ortland, Jordan B. Cooper. I don't know what their views on this stuff is.
No, Jordan B. Cooper believes in once saved, always saved.
Oh, he does. Okay. I literally just subscribed to his channel the other week, so I literally don't know his theology.
Yeah. Somebody said somebody named Calvin. I don't even know a Calvin. They say he believes it.
Yeah, JP. Just like with Zonzi, I was kind of curious. I had a couple of questions myself, but so you, I think when you were opening up the panel, you said you personally, first and foremost, doctrinally, like you said, you didn't agree with original sin, and you align more orthodox in that area.
If
I know in the past in like discussions, I think you had one with Alton, with like a bigger panel. You had issues with the implications of original sin, like an infant who is like, what can you charge? What sin can you charge an infant for?
Yeah. So in short, sin is transgression of the law. Mm-hmm. So if you're going to say that a child is sinful by birth, what is the transgression?
Yeah, that's fair. I mean, and actually recently I kind of heard that distinction. There's of like sinner versus transgressor. Like every transgressor is a sinner, but not every sinner is necessarily a transgressor. I think to transgress, you need to have like an active, like a knowing, like a willfulness to go against what you know is sinful. And you do wind up doing that sin anyway. So Yeah, I can kind of see that, and it would be interesting. So, what would you say? I've only explored like this topic very briefly because I feel like it's a little bit more inward facing, but like certain passages like well, actually, no, never mind. Maybe you can't necessarily derive original sin as we know the doctrine to be just based on that alone. Maybe it's not worth bringing up. You also mentioned Calvinism earlier, so I know you recently had it felt more like a discussion than a debate with Isaiah Presley Lafone.
Isaiah who?
Isaiah Presley Lafone?
Oh no,
Yeah.
that was not we didn't get to touch up on nothing because we couldn't open up the scriptures because there was too much to go over. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. I was just wondering, like, I mean, based on what you would have remembered from the conversation, like, I know I actually saw because I follow both of you guys on Twitter. When I saw that whole chain of like Calvinism is evil, and then
Yeah.
he's
So in
responding to
short,
everything.
he
Huh?
he doesn't. So he believed God decrees all things, but God doesn't decree sin. Right?
Oh, everyone's dropping. Wow.
Yeah. Better. It's better. We have a little
Okay.
one-on-one. So, anyways, that's what he believes, that everything's decreed. So he has some nuances that he would need to prove biblically, but obviously we didn't get into that, right? Because we would have to go by the doctrine. So, for example, he believes in eternal security. Yet he believes somebody can fall away. But if they fell away, they weren't really true believers. He believes in no sass, but there's really no way to really pin that down unless I debated him.
I
You know what
could
I'm
have
saying?
sworn in that stream he said that Calvinists aren't OSAS, but I think he qualified that with what was it? Yeah, it was the point of the tulip would be perseverance of the saints. I think on the surface, I think what the doctrine is saying is that those that God predestined for salvation, he also will give the strength to persevere through it. And then
Yeah. But again, bro, I was not able to really dive deep because we couldn't get through the scriptures.
yeah, you guys, I remember you guys kind of touching on like what would you call it, like liturgical kind of differences, like the status of baptism and whatnot.
Yeah, and that's not my strong point.
Mhm.
He could have really nailed me on that, like infant baptism. If he wanted to go for the kill, he would have had it.
I mean, it's a huge debate right now. I mean, there are tons of Baptists in the country, and of course, they're credo Baptists, and the
Yeah,
debate rages
it's
on.
just simple for me. I needed to see some sort of an example or something.
Hmm.
I mean, that's just for me, but again, I don't really. The way I see it is, if you're a person that believes, for example, baptism, right? It's repent and believe and be baptized, right? So if you're not repenting and believing, why? How does baptism work? Aren't those connected? You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Repent and be baptized, every one of you. Now, hypothetically, a child could get baptized if they repented and believed. But if you're talking about a little
8-day-old
tot,
baby.
yeah, a 1 month, I just don't see that. You know what I'm saying? Now, I get from a cultural standpoint, if you want to do that, go ahead. But I would get baptized again as a man. You know what I'm saying? So that,
Sure.
I hear you. But there are good arguments, right? Like baptized the whole household and there were babies there. I hear that. I hear that. You know?
What and maybe another one, something I wanted to ask concerning the title of this stream, and some comments earlier about you said about how Catholic platforms that you've been on feel more neutral. Um, I'm not sure how much have you encountered a lot of people who are even though you would say you're not Protestant, shall we say, historical or mainline Protestant, that the Catholics on those platforms still peg you as Protestant simply because,
Yeah, yeah, they
maybe
did it
the
on the
definition of
video itself.
Protestant is whoever's not Catholic or
Yeah, if you go to
Orthodox.
the video, if you go to the video itself,
Mhm.
they were, and I'm going to wrap up. I'm just going to start wrapping up now, but
Yeah.
in 3 minutes. But if you go to the video itself, there were Catholics saying I was still Protestant. I was like, no, I'm not still Protestant. I am sorry, my dog is manifesting, but I am still a evangelical, and that's a title that I carry proudly,
Yeah, and in that stream, that VOD of when you're with your discussion with Isaiah, there was like a ton of Catholic or Orthodox people in the comments saying, "Yeah, you're still Protestant.
Yeah, and
Evangelicals are
that's
still
and that's
Protestant."
and that's why the conversation with Catholics and Orthodox doesn't really advance. Now, shout out to the Catholics who do recognize me as an evangelical and not a Protestant. I went on William's panel tonight, and they all recognized that I'm not a Protestant. Even the Eastern Orthodox recognized me as a non-Protestant.
Okay, so
And so
your experience on those platforms is a lot
it's very
different compared to
respectful.
Protestant.
I'm telling you, when I go on those platforms, the Catholics are very respectful, and it's very neutral. When I go to a Protestant channel, they manifest like dogs. Mostly the cesspool free gracers and a lot of the Calvinists. Again, I told you I have a female Calvinist stalker. Wherever I go, whatever I do, she's there. She's
Yikes.
there. And you have rational logic. Wherever I am, he's there. And so you have those Calvinists that give a bad name to other Calvinists. And then you have the cesspool free gracers who talk a big game until I show up.
Yeah, Rational Logic was for a few days or maybe even a couple weeks, like in Christian King's Discord, like he was just every single channel, he was just spamming stuff. And
Yeah,
then
he's sick in the head. May the Lord deal with him
and
accordingly.
then he outed himself, I think, as a Freemason or something. And then after that, I think he just wound up like going silent in the thing, whether he was banned or he left himself, I don't know. But he just stopped talking in there.
No, yeah, it's something, man. But somebody said JP's making it out to be that the majority believe that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Catholic Lion. I'm assuming that's Wise Lion / Catholic Knight. So he's just combined those two
No
names
idea.
together.
But this was a good conversation. Maybe tomorrow we could proceed and continue this conversation. 'Cause this was a good conversation, and I did get a lot out of my chest today. So this was a very fruitful, productive conversation, and I thank you for that, Joshua, because this was a good one.
And I'm just glad, because I was kind of up in limbo whether you and Christian King had a complete fallout or something, because I did see
No, it's not a
the-
fallout in the sense. It's simple. If
Yeah.
you're going to critique me, you have to allow for a one-on-one conversation. If not, don't do videos. And he hasn't done videos, and I give him respect for that, because if you don't want to have that conversation, then just don't address the person. But if you are going to address the person, then have the conversation, right? It's only fair. It's only the right thing to do. And so, Joshua, if you were to make a video on me and I requested a conversation, it would be right for you to do that as a Christian. And if I made a video on you and you requested up, it would be right for you to have that conversation. It's just Christian etiquette,
Yeah, and even practically, I think it would be a lot more productive to do, instead of like one guy makes a video, another makes a response video, and then the thumbnails just become like thumbnailception, thumbnail of thumbnail of thumbnail.
Yeah.
So
Brother, look,
I just laugh whenever I
brother,
see that, man.
I'll end with
Mhm.
this. I called the Free Gracers on CK's channel a cesspool. And guess what they did when I went up and I gave them an opportunity to do something about it?
Nobody came up.
They didn't do a damn thing, brother.
Mm.
And that's what I'm saying. If they were really offended, if they were really like that, they would have showed up and did what they had to do and handle business. Unfortunately, they don't do that. And so, yeah. Now, somebody said, JP, Google if evangelical or Protestants. Brother, I'm not gonna go by Google. I'm gonna give you historical, right? The historical Christian response. A Protestant is somebody who protested the Catholic Church historically. Historically, of course, Google will tell you evangelicals are Protestants because individuals like yourself have pushed the propaganda that anybody not Catholic is Protestant. Genius.
I would be curious to know if there were any like secular historians who might have given input in this area, just because every single opinion is just coming from a Christian of some kind of stripe. You know,
No, yeah,
Catholics and Orthodox saying
historically,
evangelicals are still Protestant.
yeah, historically, we know what Protestants are. Historically, we know what they did. We can track them down. We know their confessions. We know their churches. So historically, we know what a Protestant is, right? Historically, right? Their confessions are still there. Their lineages are still there. Their church fathers are still there, right? Or their their Martin Luther. If you consider him a church father in the Protestant era, go ahead. If you don't, you don't. I get it. But we have this documented. Evangelicals who believe nothing Protestants believe other than the Trinity are not Protestants, right? There's distinctions to be made. So just because Google goes, evangelicals are Protestants, that is not true. So when Catholics and Orthodox claim that every single Christian, not Catholic or Eastern Orthodox, is a Protestant, that hurts the cause, and that's why conversations can't advance. I don't protest the Catholic Church. I don't hold to Martin Luther. I don't hold to the confessions. I don't hold to any of that. All right.
I guess the only other thing they might be able to say is like when you actually engage in debates, you basically take the Protestant position. Maybe that's the only thing and someone could possibly peg you with. Speaking of which, that debate in like February with what was that guy? I think I know his YouTube channel name, Catholic Christian. I can't remember his real name off the top of my head. That's still going on, right?
It might not go on in person. Now there are some people that donated some money to make that
Oh yeah.
happen. So everybody should be getting a refund in 2 to 3 months automatically from the website because I didn't set up my bank account. And if you don't set up your bank account within 6 months, it refunds everybody and it doesn't give you the money. So to
Okay.
everybody that donated for the debate, they will be getting their money in 3 to 6 months
Mhm.
from GoFundMe. So they'll be getting their money, and the debate will be online. Although I
Okay.
don't want to really do intercession of the saints like that anymore, because I'm intercession of the saints out. But I'll see if I'll give it a HHS. I'll see if I give it a HHS. I'll reach out to HHS and see if he wants to do it.
You like take your place in the debate?
Yeah, he could take my
Oh.
place, and this will be his first moderated go around.
Okay.
Yeah. Or if he doesn't want to do it, I'll do it. I don't have an issue with that. I'll do it. But I am intercession of the saints out,
Yeah, no one can touch you on the doctrine, man.
Well, I've had conversations with William's minions, which one of his minions is one of my best friends, because we know each other in real life. And so essentially when I would be debating him, I'm actually debating William because William is sending him all the responses, and then he was pretending to so William was hitting up the minion pretending to be in other words, let me phrase this correctly. So my friend was pretending to respond to me like if it was him, but it was William behind the scenes giving him the responses. So essentially I was debating William. Get it?
Yeah, I get the
Yeah, because
minion term is very apt.
my friend is too dumb to know how to debate. I call him dumb all the time. So he's on William's server, and William and him are good friends. So then William would give him the answers, and then he would pretend that he himself gave me the answers. So essentially, I was debating William. And
Ooh.
William is a good debater. He made me sweat a couple of times, but nevertheless, the doctrine is it's tough, brother. I'd hate to defend that position. It's a tough position to defend. You know what I'm saying?
Mm.
Because it's not really in the Bible. It's not really in the early church. It's not really there. So you have to really make a case uh, from assertions that you have to make in the writing. It's a tough. I mean, I give credit to Random Catholic. He says it's not anywhere in the 70 book canon. He says that. Random Catholic says, "Hey, look, JP, I grant to you, it's not in the 72 book canon." You know why? Because he doesn't want the headache of having to find it in scripture, because it's not really there. So then you have to go to it's a very tough position too. I mean, when I debated Jay Dyer said the catacombs, basically the tombstone writings of
And
people that were
he also mentioned some liturgies as well. I think he and his
yeah, but those liturgies weren't until the 11th century. You feel me?
I think I remember him claiming they were like 2nd century or
Yeah, and
something.
then I
But
looked it up, and then William got a hold of that, and William made fun of Jay Dyer because William said that those were forgeries.
yeah,
So Jay Dyer gave me forgeries. William caught it, and William was mocking him. But obviously, I try to be professional, so I didn't say anything. I just let it rock out. You know
all
what I'm
right,
saying?
that's fair.
Yeah.
All
So
right,
I
well,
didn't.
I think I've taken up enough of your time. Guess I'll hop off and you can just end the stream.
Yeah. Now let me. This guy said I did a thing about intercession that caused you to think about it some. Admit it, pretty please. No, absolutely. There are good arguments that are made. It's just a very tough position to debate. It's tough. It's not easy. It's a very tough position to debate. So I would almost go as far as to say it's not even a fair debate. Like if you're debating against it, um, it's not fair. It's a very hard debate. I mean, excuse me. If you're debating for it, it's a hard debate. So essentially, when you debate somebody on that topic, the person you're debating is at a mismatch because it's not a lot there. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I don't really feel comfortable debating that topic because it's a mismatch, and I try to even it out a little bit. But yeah, anyways, with that said, I gotta get going. God bless you guys. I think Christian King is alive. Y'all go ahead and go over there. Oh no, I don't think he is live. All right. Well, he's not live, but hmm. Oh, I guess I'm leaving you guys stranded for the night then. I thought he would be live. Well, sucks for you guys, man. Hmm. Well, keep an eye out for the Christian King because he might be live. He might be live. So yeah. All right. Good night, fellas. I'm